for us, Spirit.
All righty.
Greetings, Earthlings.
We are Johnita Francis and Trish Rock, your empowerment influencers.
That's right. The No Fluff conversations about spirituality, empowerment, life, and freedom. Is that right?
It absolutely is, and all sorts of other shizzle that comes up. And we are very proudly sponsored by Holistic Bliss magazine. They've just released their October issue, which is all about money and finances. So grab your copy at holisticbliss.com or download the app.
Absolutely. I actually, did you write an article for this one?
Yes.
Excellent. I did too. I had a blast writing it, so much so that the editor, Vanessa, had to come back and say, can we chop out 300 or so words?
Is that the one for the website or the magazine?
I don't know. I always get them confused. I just sit in front of it and then it just goes blah, 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 and I'm like, oh.
It was probably the magazine one. The magazine's limited, but the website's not.
Oh yeah, I got very carried away with the writing, and I had a blast doing it. So thank you for being so kind to me and writing me in.
No, that's fantastic, and it's a fantastic issue. There's a lot of guidance in there for money and finances, and we all need that right now. So lots of different points of view. Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Let's talk about this tonight. I'm a little bit scared. And for everybody listening on the podcast, we look scared too, don't we?
When you said let's do it, I'm like, no, I'm not ready. Just stretch it. That's what they say in TV, stretch it out.
Because we only have 4 more topics in this first series. And so it's getting down to some hard ones, and we're just a little bit worried, but it'll be fine. It will be fine.
Of course it will be fine, because we can blame Trish Rock 100% for any of these that come up tonight, because I'm pretty sure they're all yours.
Oh, I think they are. But before we start, I've just got a little surprise for you.
Oh!
Because it's your birthday this week.
It is.
It's Johnita's birthday. Make sure you say happy birthday in the comments.
Absolutely. I'll be 43. I know. I don't look a day over 42 and a half. It's amazing, isn't it? I was questioned earlier. Thank you, Trish. That's so cute. You sprung that on me, you cheeky little thing.
I know, right? I was gonna produce a cake and then eat it in front of you, and I thought that's not very fair. Let's just do a sparkler.
I would think that was bloody hilarious. Was it last year you sent me a Tim Tam and a sparkler in the post, so I can shove the sparkler in the Tim Tam? I love that.
I sent you your birthday cake last year. I did in the post. I know, that was hilarious.
I had someone say to me, oh, 43, don't you wish you were 20 again? And I'm like, flashbacks to the trauma of my 20s. No, thank you. Oh. The closer I get to 50, the happier I become. So no, I'm all good, thanks.
Oh, dear.
Oh, excuse me. Are you ready to spin the wheel?
Yep, we've got about half an hour tonight, so let's spin that wheel and let's see.
All right.
Send us good vibes, everybody.
Yeah. Remember, we are cute and adorable.
We are.
Oh,
well, there you go. They're really saving up all the big guns for that last couple of episodes. All right.
Right.
We can deal with that. Okay, so our topic for the people on the podcast is self-worth and values.
Yep. Self-worth and values. Oh my goodness. Actually, it's not too shabby a topic, really.
It's pretty good, and I've sense just from the clients that I've had just in this last little while, although most of my clients come for self-worth, but they don't know it, just like we don't know what our stuff is for. But I think it's really come to the fore in the last little while, because people have been reassessing their life and their direction and everything else. And then when you choose a new direction, your self-worth and your values come up.
Yeah, yeah. I've noticed it a lot since the dreaded C had been floating around, because people that were once, working for someone for a very long time, and there was longevity and security and integrity, and it was a little family unit, and in that all of that bubble of safety was
Yeah.
perceived control, that everything would be all right and they'd stay there until they got, until they retired or until they decided to move on themselves. And then this,
Yeah.
everything that's happened in the globe has kind of thrown a spanner in the works, and a lot of people have had to leave those jobs or were made redundant, or businesses have closed down. So a lot of self-worth issues have been popping up for so many people, because I've done this job for 10 years. I'm in my 50s. What am I going to do now?
It's
Or
their identity as well.
it is, and a lot of people are, have there's been a lot of suicide talk around people that have no identity anymore, because they can't provide for their families and they can't get a job doing something else. I mean, in my muggles job, we had over 700 people apply for a position, and as draining as what that was for that poor lady who had to go through every single one of them to look for that person that we were looking for in our team, that's 700 people that are out of a job.
Yeah.
Hardly any of these people had a job that they were leaving to come to something different, like in a normal economic, climate.
Exactly.
All of these people were out of work in one way or another, and it was really confronting.
It has been confronting in many ways for different people, but that is actually the how we're evolving right now, and so nothing's ever random and nothing's accidental. And not bringing any conspiracy theories in here, this is something that had to happen for this planet and the universe, because it's bringing people back to who they really are. And
a lot of questions are being asked. Yeah, people
and
are asking questions. I've lost count with how many people have said, you know what, I've loved working from home. I hate my job. I never realized I hated my job. And now I realize I want to do this and I want to do that. And I'm like, well, turn it into a business.
Yeah, but that's when the self-worth issues come up, you see, and that's when they come and see people like you and I to have some coaching and mentoring, because it's like, well, you're fully capable of doing whatever you want to do. Why are you paralyzed in fear? Oh, because I'm not good enough. Right?
You're doing it for somebody else.
Yeah, but that's different. That's different.
Absolutely.
I remember when I was in, all of the things I've been in, salon coaching and app development and another network company I was with, training people and getting up and standing in front of a room and teaching people. It's just so easy when it's someone else's stuff, or when it's technical, or when it's something that you're teaching. When you're standing up exposing your soul to someone and kind of going, well, this is who I am, and would you like to buy one of my intuitive artworks, you're putting yourself up for criticism, and that's where the self-worth all kind of kicks in. But that's really the journey for us all at the moment. We've got to see our value. We've got to start seeing our value. I learned today that self-worth issues are come from the mother's side, and it's from lack of nurture. And father issues are different. They're especially with young girls, it's not being seen. But the self-worth issues are that nurturing. It's I wasn't nurtured, or I didn't feel nurtured, and so my worth isn't as good. So it was just really interesting, and to see some of the other issues that people have, and whether they're from father or mother. But the things we pick up as a kid, because when we're born, we're full of self-worth and value, and then we're not.
Wow. That's an interesting concept, because I would have thought that those things are taught to us.
They are taught to us. It's a belief. Your self-worth belief comes from some experience in your life.
Okay. All right. So, because I was interpreting it, you're born with it. I'm thinking that, to me, that sort of sounds like a conditioning, and you learn it as you go along, a bit like nurturing and emotional mechanisms and coping mechanisms and all that sort of stuff. So,
well, we're all born loving who we are, but by the time we're 7, we've been taught a lot of beliefs that aren't even ours.
And we pick up on those and run with them, and that narrative sometimes stays with people for a very, very long time.
Oh, it does. It absolutely does. And I love getting to the bottom of that with clients, because they kind of come in with one issue, or this is the issue, and I'm like, yeah, okay. And then we keep going and keep going. I'm like, here's the issue.
Yeah.
And they're like, and be with you as well, it all comes intuitively, and it's like, okay, that is actually the issue. Let's pinpoint it so we can work on it, because otherwise you're working on all the other stuff around the big issue, and it's just band-aiding it. It's not actually clearing it.
Yeah. It's such an interesting topic, isn't it? Because and when you said it, self-worth comes from the mother, I was thinking, okay, that would make a lot of sense, because I deal with a lot of victims of child abuse, and quite often the mother is the abuser, whether she's turned a blind eye to what's going on, or whether she's the direct abuser herself. And these women, and I'm going to say women because men deal with things differently, that they have a lot of self-sabotaging conditioning that goes on for the rest of their lives, or they think that they can't. I have been in human resources for a very long time, and part of my role has always been to employ people and to maintain that culture awareness in places of business, in commercial sense. A man will ask for a raise every single bloody time you sit down with him.
Yep.
A woman, you have to offer the woman a raise before. Very rarely will you ever have a woman saying, I'm doing this. This is what I do every day. This is how much you're getting out of me, and I think I'm worth more than this. So what can we do to negotiate? Or when you're offered a job and they say, well, it's $60,000 a year. Okay. I have never, ever had a man go, okay, I've gone, no, I want 65 or I want 68. So it's really interesting that you've broken it down like that, because just from a commercial sense, and also in my spiritual work, I would 100% agree with the self-worth coming from, especially in those scenarios where the mum has been the person that has
it's the lack of nurture.
And controlled the amount of nurturing going on.
Yeah. And then, a lot of values. I think that belief is from the father's side, because we just want to be seen by our father. And so where's our value if we're not being seen? And but with the nurturing, because mothers can, as you say, turn a blind eye to some of the abuse as well. Or if you finally, as a kid, kind of go to your mum and say, this happened, and then you don't get acknowledged or believed, then like, no wonder you've got self-worth issues.
Yeah.
But once again, knowing where it comes from allows you to actually get to the belief and not keep band-aiding just the stuff that happens.
Yeah. You've got an interesting interview coming up that I noticed today. And it's a little off a guided life, but it's about it's that beautiful lady with that dark hair. What's her name?
Renee. Yep, Renee Michelle.
Yeah. No, she's talking. Well, you'll be better to talk about it. I just saw it and went, "Ooh, I need to watch that." But she's talking about the abuse and changing the storyline so you can comprehend it, I would assume, better, or I'm not really sure. I just saw it and went, oh, you know how you see a picture of a donut, you think, I want to eat that. You don't care what the inside is like or what flavor it is. You just want a bit of it. That's exactly what this talk's all about.
Yeah, it is. And, I'm not quite sure how she does it. She does coaching as well. So I presume she gets to the self-worth and the value. But, anybody who's in a victim state needs to break the victim state first before they'll even take on any new information about their worth or value. Because if you're in a victim mindset or a victim energy, how could you ever feel valuable?
Yeah, exactly.
So it should be good, but I think it's coming up for so many people who are just standing up and saying, this is not me anymore. I want something different. That's what people are saying. I want something different. And an example here is even with my book, right, that I've just written. The introduction, which was like 2,000 or 3,000 words, I actually wrote in 2014.
Wow.
And every time over the last 6 years or 7 years that I've gone to write it again, I'd read that and I'd go, oh, no one's going to read that. And so I would just put the book away, the manuscript away. This time I read it and I was like, wow, that is just really just as relevant today as when I wrote it. And here's what's happened. I've gone back to my self-worth and value as well, because 6 years ago, I knew where I wanted to be and how I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
But then I got told a lot of stuff along the way about how a different way would be better.
Yeah.
And I've just been off track so many times, and that's not blaming anybody except myself for being off
It's
track.
the journey that you go on though, isn't it?
It is, and I've learned a lot of things, but now I'm back to that point where I was back in 2013, 2014, really clear on who I am and the value of that. So I'm really not even nervous getting my book out there, right?
No.
And
well, we're all busting to look at it. We've seen little tiny snippets. Trish has been posting every day. Did my 6,000, did my 8,000, or whatever the number of the words.
Only the numbers, no words, no words.
And you can see a tiny little corner, and I'm trying to lift my phone up so I can see the rest of the book, and she's not giving anything away. So we're all
I'm not giving anything away, but you know, even people like myself, who people see perhaps as a leader and maybe already feeling valuable and self-worth, we've got to deal with all that too. We've still got stuff.
We're not exempt from it.
No, we still have stuff that comes up.
We just don't have any shame about talking about it.
We're human. The other thing, we clear it pretty quick now too, which is, you know,
and I think it's because we see it as part of the journey. It doesn't define who we are.
Yeah.
It just shows us, like, you know, when you said before about how, you know, how you've had to come back to you. And I've learned lots of things in the last couple of months in particular. And whenever I've learned anything in the past, spiritual or otherwise, I've gone, okay, how does this fit with me? Is this something for me? And sometimes it is and sometimes it's not. And if it's not, then I let it go. And the last few months I thought, okay, I'm really trying to get my head around self-worth and about nurturing and about, you know, have I properly let go of all the things that I have lived through and have in my past? Or is it something that, you know, I've just kind of just, you know, had a blokey approach to it and not dealt with it properly. And therefore, you know, I need to drag it up, kicking and screaming, and deal with it. And some of the stuff that I've learned, it's just not for me. It's not my journey. It's not my path this lifetime. And it took me a little while to get there, because a lot of the spiritual world talks about how you need to be in the divine feminine to be able to do this work. And I have done this work successfully for 28 years in the divine masculine and been very, very successful at it. And it's only been in the recent times where I've tried to bring out that divine feminine more, and that nurturing and that whole thing that I'm learning from all these, you know, great, admirable people. I have a lot of admiration for them. But it's just not my journey this lifetime. And it took me a few months, and you know, Trish will be testament to this. I was absolutely fucking miserable, because I was trying to understand, is this my ego saying, stop, you need to protect yourself. You know, I don't want you to grow. I want you to stay where it's safe. I want you to do this. And that's what our ego is designed to do. It's built in such a way that it stops us from trying anything new or breaking out of those conditionings and those cycles. So I had to ask myself, is this my ego? Is it fear? Is it this? Is it that? Or is it just not for me? And it was a really long process, because it's very important to me. So I didn't want to just, you know, try it for a week or a weekend or 10 minutes, or, you know, like you go horse riding once and you decide instantly at that point whether it's for you or not. And the spiritual path and trying different things can sometimes take a little bit longer than that. And I really wanted to make sure I was giving it A, a fair run, and B, whether I just was in a safe spot and I didn't want to leave what I had known. And I've come right around that full cycle and just gone, you know what, there's absolutely nothing wrong with my blokey, masculine approach to doing things. And I do sit with my emotions. They just don't consume me, and there's nothing wrong with that. And has been a real eye-opener, because my self-worth was in a great position before. And then it went to shit because I was trying to understand if there was something better, if there was a better way of living, that I was just clinging to the old so much because I was worried about leaving it in case, that fear of the unknown kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
Well, you've been on the self-worth journey too, so I don't believe it went to shit.
It totally felt that way.
No, because you've just expanded it. But I mean, you're still have always lived in the feminine, because intuition is feminine. So intuition and flow, but it doesn't mean you have to be in a pretty frilly dress and wear, pink lipstick and drive a pink car, right?
Yeah.
So
I think it was more in the delivery too of my communication style and my ability to simplify things into black and white, when men are very logical, and I was taking very logical approaches to resolutions for things.
Well, I simplify things too.
I like that about you.
Big stuff.
No.
Yeah.
So it's been self-worth. It's an interesting journey for everybody. So
self-worth and value, and see, with that journey you've had too, is where is my value here? Where is my value? Do I need to do that to be more valuable, or do I need to do that to show my value? I mean, I think it's just been a journey for all of us this year.
Yeah, it's been an interesting year, and I tell you what, some people that have not necessarily even sat with the divine feminine or the divine masculine, just cast all that aside for a moment, but all those people that have given themselves an opportunity to sit with themselves and really understand them and make themselves their favorite subject, they're the ones that are going to come out trump, whether they change careers, change partnership, dump their husband, run off with, spend the massage person, who knows, whatever, happy. But it's the idea of this year is to get you thinking about what fits well with you and your journey. And I think despite all the global trauma, I think that this has definitely done it. So
oh yeah, it's about becoming whole. That's what my book's about, by the way. It's called Becoming You. And that's what it's been about.
Yeah.
Because we've got our work or so many hats on, but that's not us. That's not who we are. We're not the mother, the daughter, the teacher, the boss, the employee. That's not us. It's a role we play. But who are we really? And I think people had to be stripped of all of those identities and those different hats, and actually sit with themselves and ask the question, well, who am I? If I'm not that or that, who am I? And I think it's fantastic that, I mean, it's probably not for them. They're pushing a lot of shit uphill right now, but, it's fantastic for them moving forward, because they're going to be living as a whole person.
Yeah. And some of us are just honestly going through the motions. We're doing this because, mum and dad got married in their 20s, and I'm staying with my husband, even though I'm miserable. I hate my life every day, but I have to stay with him too, because that's what my parents did. Or they have these other belief patterns where I'm really struggling to talk tonight.
Do we have some throat chakra issues here?
Probably not. I've been very vocal. I probably ran out of vocal. But it's just all the things that are going through the motions and just doing them because that's what we've always done. And when you can't take the kids to school and drop them off at 6:30 before school care and pick them up at 5 o'clock because you've got a job to do, your job's been canned, you work from home, you've got more time with your family, you're changing your views on things, you're changing what you value in your life, and you're not going through the motions. So I can tell you now that there's going to be an absolute fucking uproar when the corporate world decides that all these people that have been successfully working from home, doing twice as much work with less distraction, are going to be forced to go back to the office and give up that extra 2 hours a day with their family, or they can grab their dog and go for a walk at lunchtime and still only have a half an hour break and manage to get 10 hours worth of work in because there's no distractions.
Absolutely. And I think even just the little things of traveling for an hour to go to a meeting where you can just hop on a Zoom, things are definitely changing.
It is. And I think that there will be a lot of pushback and people will stop being a slave to the man as a collective government, but stop being a slave to the man. And I think that we actually as a whole needed to go through this, you know, although I don't necessarily agree with how it was rolled out. But I think in the long term and in the hindsight, I think that this absolute nonsense that we've all been going through has been pivotal in finding out who we are and what we want to do with our lives and where our values sit and where our moral compass sits with a lot of things as well. And
well, so many people are so deep in the mud and so out of touch with themselves that if they didn't have this shock, they would never have come out of themselves. And, you know, valuing yourself more also means you can create the life that you want. And, you know, that's also been something you and I have been doing for the last 3 or 4 months as well. Actually, what is it that we want? What would a perfect day look like? And then being comfortable with it because it's different for you than it is for me. And, you know, I don't particularly want to work 9 to 5. I just don't want to do it. And I've got a plan for how I want my life to look, and it's all starting to roll out because I believe it now, and I believe that I'm valuable enough to have it. And that's really, I think, the message that we want to give to everybody listening. This, whatever you want in life, you're valuable enough to have it. And I mean, you've got a job that you absolutely love, and you love what you do, and you love going there. And you know, you've also got your other work that you do, which is really important too. And so you've planned your kind of perfect day as well. And
minus the traffic in Sydney. Thank you very much, all you slow drivers. That I will never get used to.
Look,
unless I'm on my bike.
In the next 10 years, when we're living like the Jetsons, you'll have a little portable, floating craft.
I just got this beautiful hovercraft jetpack.
Yes.
Backpack that I could strap to myself and hang on to my motorcycle and clip my bum into something and just
off you go.
I'll be there. Off I go. And then I would stop whinging about the traffic. But it's exactly right. And the more we see that life is not, however your life looks, okay, you must be happy doing it. So it doesn't matter if you love your 9 to 5 job. It doesn't matter if you love being home. It doesn't matter if you want to mix it to both. How that looks for you has to be what's perfect for you. Okay. Absolutely. And that's all that matters in this. And the more we value what we bring to the table, and so many people, you know, like they're very capable. I've had team members say to me, oh, I didn't realize how effectively I could work outside of a team. I thought that I had to be in a team to get that interaction, but I don't need to do that now. I'm actually working better without that interaction. And I'm just coming back for a Skype meeting when I need to get information. And the people are surprising themselves. And I love that because, you know, humans are my favorite subject. But just the growth that everybody's getting as a result of this, even though it was forced and it was uncomfortable and it was really shitty. And it still is shitty for a lot of people. But I think that growth, once you embrace it and you realize it,
but the resistance is holding it there too. So you know, if you are in that resistance right now with self-worth and with your values, stop pushing it all uphill. Just take some time and just ask yourself, what is it I want? And then when you have that written down, see what reaction comes up, because that's where you'll find the resistance. And you know, it's an exercise well worth doing. It really is. And to get clear on what it is you want and why you don't have it yet. Because everything on the outside of us we've created, so we can uncreate it and change it and
really simply and
create something else.
I just want to give you a quick little story. Because the gyms have been closed and then they've reopened, but they're reopened with supervised hours only. Now, as someone who used to train at 3 a.m. in the morning for 2 hours.
Supervised visits.
Supervised visits. Heaven forbid we get too healthy. Oh, my goodness. But so now the gyms are opening, or our particular gym opens at 5 a.m. So it's been really frustrating because I had to get to work early because I'm training a new team. We've actually got 3 new staff members, so I'm training all of them. And it's important that I'm invested in their confidence and their comfortability, because I want them to love working there as much as I do, and I want them to feel empowered in their job. So my job is to give them that and be with them so that they have a good experience and they learn their job and they feel comfortable and confident and want to stay forever. So that meant that I couldn't go to the gym in the mornings, and I am rat shit tired and feral, and I generally have lots of readings and things to do in the afternoon, so I couldn't go to the gym on the way home. And I was turning into a complete feral as a result of this. And I said to Trish, I think I've just, I need to do this and I need to go to the gym and I've got no time for me and I'm so sick to death of this and stuff the world, I'm going to eat worms. And she said, don't be ridiculous, just go to the gym. And I'm like, oh my God, shut up. So off I told her, may have paraphrased that bit, but pretty much that she slapped me with a bit of reality, and I'm like, fucking hell. So I said to my husband, that's it, babe, I'm going to the gym in the morning, then you can't stop me. And he goes, okay. Didn't realize I was stopping you. And then I said to our kids, which are 2 German Shepherds, I'm going to the gym in the morning and you can't stop me. And they're like, see you later, whatever, lady. And then I went to my boss at work and I said, I have to go to the gym in the morning. And I might be, like half an hour later for work. I don't start technically till 8 o'clock. I still manage to get there at 6:45 every day. And he's like, I don't care. And I'm like, damn it, Trish, you were right. So I do have some divine feminine, because overthinking shit that doesn't actually take place, first and foremost. And when I went back to and this was in the middle of me trying to understand about all this emotional stuff. So I blame that wholly and solely for my trauma. But as soon as I broke it down and realized that I did have control over what I could do, and that my decision to go to the gym not only made me feel better about myself, and it took away all of my ass hattery, because I was being an ass hat because I love the gym, it is my life.
Yeah.
And then I still am able to go to work. I'm not letting anybody down. I'm still training those girls. They're still wonderful team members. I'm so happy with them.
Yeah.
But it's all about that self-worth and value. And I didn't think that it was right for me to take that half hour, 40 minutes in the morning to go to the gym. And obviously I can't work out for 2 hours every day, I get that.
See, so it's really been expanding you too. And you had, you had a couple of other underlying self-worth stuff going on as well, which then affects all the outside, you see. It just has like a domino effect. It has a domino
everybody
effect.
Else's fault.
Yeah, it just has a domino effect.
But a slight little tweak, and honestly, that slight little tweak of me going to the gym every day makes me feel empowered. It doesn't make me feel as tired because I'm doing it. I've got a routine. I'm very routine-y. I'm on the spectrum, I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
So I love that routine. And it felt like I had no control in my life anymore by taking that gym out of it. Okay. So yeah, tiny little tweak value. And people that, when you,
and that's a good lesson. That's a good lesson to just, take everything out of the pot and just see what the actual issue is, because otherwise we throw it all in and we're just like, well, you know what, life's shit. And then you'd be like me in 2009 and you sell the business, sell the house, sell the furniture, piss off somewhere down to another state where you know nobody, right? So that they don't make you unhappy anymore.
Yeah. Again, external problems, not ours.
External problem. I know, right? I know.
If all you would just do as you're told, even though we're not telling you what we need from you, that would be great.
So
I like this topic.
Yeah, so we've got some lovely people on tonight.
Cool.
We'll go and answer all of your questions and comments when we've finished up, and make sure you head over to Johnita's YouTube channel as well. Is it Insights by Johnita, or is it just Johnita Francis? Or
Insights by Johnita.
Yeah, because she's starting to speak about some stuff. So head over there, subscribe.
Think about some stuff, all the taboo topics.
So go do that, and so that was a pretty fun topic. Jess Ainsworth is saying, I love how Johnita lights up whenever the Jetsons are mentioned. I love the Jetsons too. I think I'm waiting for the day when I could just stand in that wardrobe for 5 seconds and come out dressed.
Oh my God. Or you can stand in front of the mirror and it puts all different outfits on you, and then you just press the button and ka-ching.
Oh yeah.
You could get your hair straightened without burning yourself.
I know, right?
The joy.
It's just going to be so amazing.
I'm going to so look forward to it. I wonder. Oh.
And it will come true because everything else is coming true from all those things.
You know, they paint guns in Skirmish. I just had this vision of you picking out the makeup that you want, and then you press a button, the paint gun shoots at your face.
And it's done.
And it's done.
Well, it can do that because it'll scan it, everything, won't it? And it'll just go exactly where it's needed.
I will never stab myself in the eyeball with my mascara wand ever again.
That'll be perfect.
I know. Yeah. No more Alice Cooper eyes. Bring on the Jetsons, baby.
All right. Well, that's been fun. And don't forget to head over to holisticblissmagazine.com or the app. It's all about money and finances this month. Johnita and I both have articles in it, and there's so many amazing things. The cover is Kath Orman, and she is a money expert, so she's got a great story as well. So make sure you grab a copy of that.
Absolutely. And without further ado, thank you all for tuning in, whether you're listening on the podcast or whether you're in our live audience. Thank you very much for being here.
Yes, and you can subscribe on Apple Play, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts.
That's it.
Apple Podcasts, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. We are now on Amazon Music. If you download the new app they've got, we are now a podcast on Amazon Music. What's the other one? There was another one. Oh, Buzzsprout. Wherever you enjoy your podcasts, we are there. So just look us up and subscribe. Yep.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you all. Oh, what are we doing next week?
We are doing Q&A next week. So what we might do is pop up a post in the next few days. What do you think, on the page for questions? Yep. And then we'll answer some live as well if you want to join us and answer whatever it is you want to ask us.
That'll be exciting. Don't ask me if I can prove whether I'm wearing pants or not. You will be.
She will.
Shocked.
Not wear pants, but she'll prove it.
You betcha. No shame. Self-worth and value. Bye, guys. Thanks very much. Take care.
Bye.